the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Oh, you know, George is gonna be all right on defense.
Yeah. On the Tennessee side of things, I texted you this, where I saw the SEC media poll and where they think Tennessee is going to finish this upcoming season. And again, it's something you touched on at the top here. It's just people are wrong about Tennessee this year. And it's one of those very silly things where you can tell who watched a lot of Tennessee the last 2 years in media and who did not. Tennessee won 19 games the last 2 years with below average quarterback play. Tennessee has lost one home game in the last 3 years. Tennessee has one of the best schedules in the SEC and all of FBS. It's top 15 schedule nationally. The losses aren't there. So for the teams that you see above, do you have it in front of you? The 1 through 9?
I do have
Matt
it in
Green?
front of me, yes.
For the listener and for the Vol fans who have not seen where the SEC media thinks the Vols are going to finish this year, enlighten the good folks this week.
Okay, so we got, you mean just go down the list?
Yeah, let's go down the list.
Until I get to the Vols. We got 1 Texas, 2 Georgia, 3 Alabama, 4 LSU, 5 South Carolina, 6 Florida, 7 Ole Miss, 8 Texas A&M, and the Vols coming in at number 9, and Oklahoma at 10. You may keep going. Oklahoma 10, Auburn 11, and Missouri 12. And then I feel like that's where it drops off. Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. Bottom 4. So
do you know what that feels like?
Surprised to see Mississippi State behind Kentucky, to be honest. They feel like they have more of a pulse than Kentucky right now, but I mean, maybe we're splitting hairs down there at the bottom.
I think what that is more, I think Kentucky has a safer floor with the defense. You know, Mark Stoops just seemingly has a safer floor than Mississippi State.
Maybe.
But I do think Mississippi State has a higher ceiling this year. You know how I feel about Blake Shapen.
But let's stay focused on the real story. On this glob of teams. What, 4 to 9, 4 to 10?
It's basically like 4 to 12, because if you're going to throw Mizzou all the way down at 12, who I think is still going to be a pretty good team, and another team who has a great schedule this year, they have a better schedule than Tennessee, arguably, in 2025. It's just the problem with this poll is it's like, it's okay to have a couple of those teams in front of Tennessee. You can't have that many because it's too many volatile teams with way more difficult schedules who they all can't break out and Tennessee be the 9th best. That's going to require some bad Tennessee losses that we have not seen under Josh Heupel since basically his first season on Rocky Top, where he went 7-5 in the regular season. You know, like that's just not in the cards. And it's something where when you look at Tennessee's home record and you look at where Tennessee's at defensively, yes, the Nico part of it hurts things. And I think that would have raised their ceiling, obviously, in the conference and what they could be. But he was still theoretical. Like Nico, we have no idea what year 3 in the system would have looked like for him. He may have made progress. He may not have. He may just not be that guy. You know, like that happens with 5-star quarterbacks. That's just a projection. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee that they're going to end up developing into first-round quarterbacks. So I just look at it in terms of like, man, I still trust the run game. I think the offensive line is going to be better than last year. The receivers, they have to stay healthy, but there's a path. Tight end's going to be really good again this year. And then they're just deep all across the board on defense. And I just have a very hard time believing where they're going to be on special teams, defense, running the football. If they have to ground and pound people to death because the quarterback plays below average again and the receivers can't stay healthy and they're just too young and thin there, Josh Heupel and company have earned the benefit of the doubt. Like they are going to grind. It might be ugly, but they are going to grind to win. Heupel wants to win above all else. He will adapt his scheme to win football games. He's shown that every year he's been at Tennessee. The tempo's been gone for years now, and it just doesn't matter. Like you need it back to really realistically, I think, contend. But I think you're going to see some new wrinkles on offense. But man, I think people have really just completely lost their minds about Tennessee. Like this is an 8-4 floor and ceiling 10-2, but that would require a whole lot better quarterback play than I think they're ultimately gonna be able to get in 25. So yeah, I mean 9-3 is about right. 8-4 I think is the floor, and that's not finishing 9th in this conference. Like Florida has a much floor. Like Florida, South Carolina, Ole Miss, A&M, they're way more volatile to me than what Tennessee is in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, you could even throw LSU in there just in terms of just the schedule. LSU's schedule is just a monster. But yeah, South Carolina and Florida feel like the most like the most possible outcomes for sure in the whole conference. I don't know. Everyone's in love with Lagway, so maybe this is the year they take the step forward. But I think people are kind of sleeping on Texas A&M at 8. Personally, I think Texas A&M would not surprise me if they finish 4th or 5th or so in the SEC. I mean, this is a team that if they beat Texas in the final game of the season, they were going to the SEC championship last year. Like now it's year 2 of Elko. Like Marcel Reed, maybe he's a little more comfortable in the second year in the offense. Like I feel like A&M people are kind of sleeping on, but yeah, I mean, but to talk about Tennessee, like I just think Nico taking that step, I think, was a huge part of everyone's expectations, or I should say non-Tennessee expectations. And so I think Nico, and then also Dylan Sampson was the best player on this team last year. Maybe Heupel system, he's just able to plug in a new running back and they don't miss a beat. But I think that's another aspect of like Nico's gone, and the guy that actually was the best player on the team last year is also gone. I don't know. And the schedule is not tough. So, or I shouldn't say it's not tough. It's more manageable than some of the other schedules in the SEC. So I think I would be shocked. I wouldn't say shocked. I'd be surprised if they finished 9th in the SEC. But I'm not super high. Like, I mean, I'd probably have them 6 or 7, I guess. But I don't think 9 is like necessarily egregious.
9's egregious with the schedule
Yeah.
and what Tennessee has proven. Yeah, it's egregious. Like, I think Tennessee, if I had to put my money where my mouth is this year, I think they're somewhere between 5 and 7. I think they're safe 5 to 7. I would be surprised if they're one of the 4 best this year. I would be pleasantly surprised, but I think they fit somewhere in 5 to 7.
And I think this is why I texted you when we first saw this, was like JP poll style,
Yes.
Power rankings. Maybe Tennessee is the 9th best team in the conference by the end of the year, but I feel like if they are, they'll probably be 5th or 6th in the standings. Like, and I think Missouri could be kind of something similar.
Yeah. We shall see, but it is interesting. I think it's good for Tennessee though, because I think expectations are low, and I think people are going into this year like, Heupel, bad hand, the Nico stuff. I think there's just a lot of folks who feel bad for what happened to Tennessee this spring, and they don't expect a whole lot out of them. So I just think Tennessee's going to get some weird underdog love, and I'm like, this is a team that's won 30 games in the last 3 years. Like, this is still a top 15 team, and like we talked about at the top, they are now in the blue chip ratio. This is an extremely talented roster. Like, Tennessee has really quietly been stacking good classes on top of good classes, and I do think they messed up receiver in the portal this past cycle, but outside of that, like, I still feel pretty good about everything, all things considered. So I don't know. We shall see on the Tennessee front, but I'm a whole lot more bullish on the Vols in 25 than it seems like a lot of SEC media folks are. Matt Green, Big 12 preview. Oh, yeah.
Can I say one more thing? It's interesting to me how many people are throwing LSU in that top group, kind of.
Yeah.
Like just they're known and they're in that group. They feel like they have a lot of different outcomes too. So
a lot more transfer portal heavy this cycle for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think in most years, if this was 2, 3, 4 years ago and Georgia and Alabama had teams like this, I think people are talking about them like it's anyone's conference. And right now it's interesting how Georgia and Alabama and Texas are being treated kind of differently. Maybe it's just a different year. There's just different, parity in the SEC right now. But even the teams that everyone's putting in that elite group, I'm not sure how much better those teams are than everyone else right now.
Yeah. Big 12 preview. Will they or won't they? We're going to play this game for each of the Big 4 Power 4 conferences over our preview series over the next month here, Matt Green. And then we'll make our picks on our over-under bets, whether or not they are going to hit the over or hit the under this season. What is this, year 5 of us doing this, Matt Green, I believe?
Oh, yeah. We've been doing this a long time now. I don't have the data right in front of me, so don't ask for it.
I think it's year 5. But we're also doing Big 12 title game. We'll pick who makes the Big 12 title game and who makes the CFP from this conference. So we're going to do 5 minutes on the clock. We might end up using the 5. We might not. But either way, as we get through each of these 16 teams in the Big 12 conference, because nothing makes sense in college football and conferences, and why you should never name or include numbers in your conference titles names, because you just never know how long that conference will actually exist. Like the Big Ten's actually quietly trying to get away from it, just the big conference. They're
The
hiding
word
that
10.
Yeah, they're trying to hide it. It's just like, we're the Big 10 conference. Like they're trying to get distance themselves, because they know it's very silly at that, because you're nearing 20 here and you're still calling yourself the quote unquote Big 10 conference. But that is neither here nor there. Matt Green.
Yeah, I think
I'll start things off. Oklahoma State, 5 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Oklahoma State, 5.5. Matt Green. Here's the weird part about Oklahoma State to me.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.